All right, listeners, watchers, we are back. The Culture Cafe has returned.
Welcome
Um,
back, guys.
yeah, welcome back after another long break. We're making a habit of these, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, you've been pretty busy with your assignments, and I've been overseas, so life's gotten in the way, I think. So
Life's been hectic. Yeah, you were in America, right? Yep.
I was, yep, three
Nice,
weeks,
nice.
and I got back about 5 days ago. So keen to get back into recording, discussing all the things that we're interested about.
Yeah, for
And
sure. And there's so much happening at the moment, so there'll definitely be a few good topics to cover.
yeah, definitely. Oh, and I heard you had an 8-hour assignment today.
I did. It was really interesting, actually. So
8-hour
it's for a
exam.
subject. Yeah, an 8 hour exam. Um, it's for a subject called conflict negotiations, mediation, and resolutions. So it's already an absolute mouthful, but basically, the whole class or year level in the university was tasked with a role play, and you get a role in the Malian crisis. So I won't explain what that is now. It was in the news a lot in 2012, 2013. The French are heavily invested in it as well. But Mali's an African country,
Yep.
and we basically had to come to an agreement between all the different parties and groups. Obviously, not a real one, but a practical and a realistic one. And so I was representing the Tuaregs, which is an Arabic tribe in Mali, and some of my friends were representing jihadist groups. Some people with the Malian government. It was very interesting to see how peace negotiations play out, even if it wasn't the most realistic thing because we're a bunch of students. But that's hard. It's hard, man, to meet everyone's interests. Like you got to negotiate with terrorists. It's a cruel world out there.
What was the outcome, sort of these peace talks?
So the outcome was that there would be amnesty for all fighters. That's whether you're a jihadist, an extremist with your ethnicity, not necessarily religion. The French, the Malian government, and the corruption they showed, everyone was granted amnesty uh,
I
with
think
the
that's good. I
agreement
think
that
amnesty is such a good idea. Like in any
it
war.
is good. Yeah, and like the agreement was that once that amnesty was given, that everyone would lay down their arms. So it's a bit of a trade. How realistic that is in real life, I'm not sure, but I mean,
Mm.
everyone, it was 8 hours. Everyone was pretty tired, so we all signed it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man, it was
Simon the Clyde. Dude.
it was good though.
Yeah.
Just absolutely hopped up on caffeine throughout the
Yeah.
day. So yeah,
Mm.
but actually, that's an interesting uh topic that I've been thinking about recently. So I tried to quit caffeine.
Bad idea.
And yeah, bad idea. And it's big for me as well because I'm a massive coffee drinker, like a very, very heavily dependent on it. So I went from having about 4 to 5 cups a day, and I thought, in all my arrogance, I thought I'd be able to cut down to just drinking black tea instead. The headaches by the end of the day, oh my God.
Damn. I remember like I tried to cut down my caffeine by just drinking tea, and I found that I for some reason I got away with just drinking tea, and it didn't give me
Stronger
that I
man
didn't
than
get the
me.
headache. Well, I don't know. I guess I probably wasn't drinking like 5 cups a day of coffee. Probably drinking like maybe three.
More of a normal human amount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
But that worked for you, jumping onto the black tea.
Yeah. But I'm still sucking on the black juice today. The good stuff.
Sucking on
The
the black juice.
yeah.
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 Well,
Blood.
I lasted about 2 days and I jumped straight back into my 4 cups. So I didn't last long at all.
Maybe what could be better is like instead of having five a day, you have like coffee, black tea, maybe, and then like increase the ratio of black tea.
Yeah, like I should definitely take a slower approach. I was stupid about it. Um, but I think like the reason I wanted to stop in the first place is that I was getting like these crazy energy spikes and then these massive crashes.
Ah,
And it was so unproductive because if I sat down to study or even if I was just out and about with friends, I'd get super tired and I'd be like,
Mm.
shit, I can't keep going. I need a coffee. And then I was like, this is bad. I want to get rid of this, kick this habit.
Yeah.
But I definitely need to take a better approach to it.
I think I've been noticing that with me as well lately, getting energy sort of lows in the middle of the day, sort of after I've had my 2 morning coffees, and then maybe at about like 3, I'll feel really tired
Yeah.
for no reason.
It's that 3 o'clock slump.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah. It hits hard, man. Yeah, if anyone's listening right now and they're trying to kick a coffee habit, or they've successfully kicked a destructive coffee habit, because it doesn't even have to be a bad habit, let us know. Give us some tips, give us some advice, because we'd love to hear some insight on it, honestly. And I'm not even drinking good coffee at the moment. I'm drinking this jumbo pack that I got from Aldi like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Shit's dry as fuck. I feel like I'm
Really?
putting
Are you
soil
making,
into boiling water.
how are you preparing it over there?
Just instant coffee.
Oh, instant. Oof.
Yeah, with a bit of cinnamon actually, which has changed the game.
Ooh,
Bit of
really?
cinnamon, mix it up, and then if I'm feeling like I need a health kick, a bit of cumin, but I don't know what that does. I just apparently it's healthy, so
Yeah.
yeah, why not?
Um, that's good. That's interesting. I think maybe I'll try that. Some uh
Yeah, man.
cumin or cinnamon. Sounds
Yeah,
yum.
the cinnamon started. I started doing that over Christmas because I was like, I just felt festive, and I was like, yeah, fuck it, I get in there. And so I tipped it in, and then it was tasty as damn. It was good, man.
It's a gateway
Slurping that
drug.
up.
That
It is a
caffeine
gateway drug.
gets you on the
Uh,
cinnamon.
and then cinnamon in my coffee one day, ground ginger and ground nutmeg the next. A full
Oh
spice
no.
explosion. Yuck.
Later he's chucking coriander in there partway. Uh,
Oh
uh,
shit.
yeah.
Bit of parsley, man. Why not? Yeah, but
Destructive habits. Um,
destructive habits.
I'm trying to think of a way to segue this to bushfires because they're destructive as fuck.
They fucking are, man. It's sad
Yeah.
to see what's going on back home.
And we both were hearing about it whilst overseas, which was a pretty alien experience.
Yeah, to
Didn't
see.
feel real.
Yeah, exactly. Because you always hear about these crises that are going on in other countries, and while you care about it, you don't really invest in it. Whereas with this one, we were overseas hearing about it and we're completely invested in it. Emotions and all. I definitely got a bit, not a bit, I was quite upset when I saw the fires and what they were doing.
Yeah, shocking. Got very, very close to a holiday house of mine.
Really?
Yes, so close. Like
Fuck.
in that area in East Gippsland, they're issuing
Yeah.
warnings for, like Tamboon, which is the area that it's in and stuff. Yeah, so
Damn.
very close. Yeah, it's just unprecedented. And one thing I will say though, I feel like ScoMo, he's getting a lot of blame like put upon him, but I don't know how much of responsibility he really has, apart from sort of rhetoric and pretending. Like obviously, you have to pretend you give a fuck at least as prime
Yeah.
minister, which he hasn't done at all.
No,
So
he's shit. He's just an idiot when it comes to public relations. I've always thought that of him. I think though the one thing to call him out on big time is, and this is like undisputable, the letter that was sent by the Joint Fire Chiefs asking to
mm,
talk to him, and they
mm.
were like, "This is going to be a bad season," and he refused to meet with them. So
Like I've known this for years and years.
yeah, they've
It's
been
gonna
saying
get
it's going
very
to get
bad.
worse. Yeah. So, but in saying that, I think you're right. Like, there's a lot of angry, emotional posts about him on
Mm,
Instagram and social media, and people have a right to be angry. But
mm.
not that I am a ScoMo supporter, but yeah, I don't know how much he can do.
There was because there was huge protests all over the country, and like I'm pretty sure one of the headlines of it was "Sack ScoMo," and I just think using a public event like that, they could have been directed more constructively. Like
Yeah.
there could have been better and more mature arguments put forward than "Sack ScoMo" shouldn't have been the number one, like because that's never going to happen. Like I
Yeah.
don't think it's going to get kicked out of power, so.
I had a massive chat to
Mm.
our mate Luke Munn about this. Just full name, obviously you know who he is, but he oh, what's this? My laptop's been red. Anyway, sorry. We were talking about how emotions become such a massive role in like everyone's political argument, and if we strip back the emotions in the political arguments, we can actually look for ways forward that are, as you said, more constructive.
Yeah, so true. Like, I mean, policies. I mean, politics is all like very much about emotions. That's what people tend to vote on, which is like such a
Yeah,
shame because it really stops us from making good decisions.
100%. I think
Mm.
we should just enroll a stoic dictatorship.
Handy. Or like three philosopher kings. I think was that Plato's Republic. Like three of like the most philosophically enlightened people, and just get them into do everything. 'Cause
I hadn't heard of
I,
that. That's
I,
an interesting
that,
theory, though.
similar idea though. Just get someone who's like very level-headed, but then again,
Yeah.
still. Actually, I don't know. Is it better to have one person who you know is capable of entirely rational thought, or trust like a group of people? I don't know.
Oh, let's
A
unpack
group of
that.
people who are unconscious, essentially.
Yeah,
Like,
and just purely focused on emotions.
yeah. Which
And
I'm,
what's that word when you in politics when you purely go for what people want you to say and what you want to be likable?
I don't know.
Oh, there's a
Rhetoric?
word for that. Um, jump in here. It's a good word. Only learnt it recently. No idea what it means. I mean, no idea what it is. No, I can't remember it. But it's like when you just try and be favorable. So the only thing you're doing is making yourself likable. Everything you say is just to please the majority. Someone's probably listening right now. They know the word and they're just like, it's this, it's fucking this.
Charlatan?
Say it.
No.
But yeah.
Smart? Something like that. I don't know.
So,
I don't know.
yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Right.
yeah.
Anyway,
If only
ScoMo's
we could call up Marcus Aurelius.
yeah. It was
Get
essentially
up, boy.
ScoMo sounds like one of those. Just yeah. Just
It's a
baseless.
shame.
Yeah.
It feels like
It's so
the world
bad.
is to quote, no, not to quote, I'm not going to say that because I'm not sure if it's a correct one, but like, man, it just feels like the world is an absolute mess right now. We have this crazy situation over in Iran, and the Russian prime minister and government just stepped down. Like,
Yeah, I heard that, and it was like
what's
after
happening?
Putin's speech saying like something. I just saw the headline today, so I don't know what to comment, but it sounded like Putin's trying to orchestrate a scenario where he can like very easily maintain power in the future. Is my
Yeah.
understanding. Do you
I
know
think
anything about that?
from what I heard, I pretty much heard the same as you. I read like a little subtext thing. So it wasn't much, but it was just like he's basically called for if you want to be the is it the president of Russia? The Russia has a president, right?
I think like
And a
yeah,
prime
there's a
minister.
president and a prime minister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you want to be president, which is Putin, you have to have lived in the country for 25 years. You can't have a dual citizenship. There's like all these different qualifications. But in Australia, you can't have a dual citizenship either, right?
No.
No. Damn. Maybe
Is that
Putin's
your
shaking hands with ScoMo. He's the only
Yeah.
person ScoMo will have an accepted handshake with.
Yeah. Yeah,
God
that
damn.
was so bad seeing those people in I don't know what the town was, but just like everyone was not having a bar of him.
Yeah.
How good that I was thinking, it's so good that we live in a country where you can actually roast like the prime minister. Imagine that in Russia, you'd probably disappear.
You'd be killed.
Yeah. You'd probably get deleted.
Genuinely, man. You'd cease to exist.
Yeah.
It's cooked. I saw that the Inspired Unemployed put up an Instagram video taking the piss out of the ScoMo handshake situation. That was pretty funny.
Shake my hand.
Shake my hand. Oh fuck.
Uh,
Some very funny blokes. Some
yeah.
very funny blokes. Yeah, but man, it's just like crazy. The world right now, it's all so messy, it feels. And you have the impeachment and oh man.
So much disorder. Feels like everything's never
Yeah.
so,
But then
everything sort of like seems to be and so divided.
I
Mm.
thought, and like a lot of people are saying like, oh, it feels like we're on the brink of World War III. It feels like everything's crazy. And it does feel like that. But I wonder if it's always sort of been this bad and it's just that social media allows us to see way more than we normally would, or if it really is the worst it's been in several decades. Um, I don't
Mm.
know. I've only just started following actual global affairs in the past year. So honestly, I'm not sure what it was like before then, which is a shame, but
Yeah.
comment.
I mean, it's probably a bit of both, you know. I feel like um, tensions are higher globally than they have been
Yeah,
previously. But then again, compare it like this mid last year, it was all the US and North Korea, and that was a problem. And
that's
yeah, I
true.
feel
Yeah.
there's no clear answer to that, I guess.
Yeah. And I feel like, I don't know, do you get this feeling that it's like when I think about everything that's going wrong in my head, I'm still like, there won't be a World War III. No way. No way. Like, there just won't. It just can't happen. But then, like, everyone would have thought that back in the day, and then it did happen. Someone shot the Duke, or
Mm.
Japan invaded Pearl Harbor. Not that that started World War II, but the Americans would have been like, oh shit, we're involved now. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the nuclear sort of components really change the game. I feel like no one's really willing to actually escalate.
Yeah. Just avoid
Um,
mutually assured destruction.
yeah, but
I love that phrase.
then again, it's like um another thing I read this morning was that um, Mike Pompeo, I think, whoever's the um, head of foreign affairs or some high level dude in the U.S. government has said today that I'm killing Soleimani, the Iranian military leader, was the saying. Now it was a measure of uh, increasing like the threat of culpability in the Middle East and increasing like an imposing cost on people
Yeah.
who weren't being cooperative. So like when initially they had said they killed him because they'd been surveilling him for a long time and known he was planning to bomb all these US assets and stuff, and now they've
Yeah.
literally just changed completely their reasoning for doing it. They just absolutely fucking playing God in the Middle East, that's for sure. But
Yeah.
not only
It's ridiculous.
US, but
I I heard an interesting theory, and I can't remember the particulars of it, but it basically went something like, you've probably heard it as well, or even thought of it, because it seems quite, it's like pretty obvious, but um, the theory goes that the supreme leader of Iran wanted this to happen, got in contact with the US and was like, yeah, make it happen. And then when you make it happen, I'm going to bomb that base in America, but I'm going to bomb it. I'm letting you know I'm going to bomb it. So get everyone out. I'll tell my people that I've bombed it, and then they have their worthy reaction. So that's all cool. So, bombed that. The Iranian people are like, okay, cool. Our government did something to retaliate. And at the same time, General Soleimani has been taken out of the equation completely. It's an interesting theory. I don't know how much ground it holds, but
uh,
while we're
so
discussing, yeah.
yeah, so like the higher dude, like the are we talking like the president or prime minister sort of scenario?
Yeah,
That
Supreme. I think he's called the Supreme Leader.
really wow.
Yeah.
He would want Qasem Soleimani killed because he was too much of an anti-US agitator.
Or just like he just wanted him gone for whatever reason. I mean, personally, I don't fully buy it because I don't understand the situation enough, but I just heard it and I was like, oh, okay. I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you, YouTube comments.
I think yeah, the US is like, I feel like another reason would be that I hear YouTube comments. I feel like the US is like getting pretty. They're finding it very hard to deal with their decreasing influence in the world, in world affairs. I feel like they're
Yeah.
diminished in like the Middle East and Africa, like two places where they've always been trying to really make sure that they're influential, and now they're sort
Yeah.
of being pushed aside. I feel like they maybe are trying to continually maintain influence in the
Yeah,
Middle East.
true. A bit of a like they miss that power that they had.
Mm, yeah.
Mm,
Oh, and petrol prices have gone up as a result in Australia. It's like
really?
$1.70. Yeah,
Christ.
yeah,
Fuck. Good thing you're a good bike rider, mate.
exactly. No worries. Fucking hipster in a city like um yeah, and like you would have heard about, Barnaby Joyce's comments, like the people who died in the bushfires were probably Greens voters and stuff,
Bro, he called the ex-fire chieftain a lefty.
and and Michael McCormack, a Liberals national senator, said like not going to listen to some woke left
Yeah.
socialists, like inner city left leaning Greens, some shit. Anyway, fucking people want to make climate change a political issue when it's
Yeah.
literally like
It's
not
science.
political.
It's
It's
fucking
just fucking
science.
physics. But people want it to be politicized so they can try and make like pit people against each other and make nothing ever happen.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's just like something that reminds me of. It's obviously not as catastrophic, but when people politicize their diets, like bro, as if you're not a carnivore, that's fucked up. Like you're wrong. I'm right. Like bro, bro, carbs are
Yeah,
bad.
I know people get so again, emotions, and people like identify with their political and
Yeah.
moral beliefs, so they get
Yeah.
really insecure if people can't conform to them. So yeah,
100%, man. And people
everyone's
like
guilty of it.
they categorize you based on certain ideologies and beliefs, like, and disregard completely whether you're a good person. Yes, some ideologies come along with people being shit people, but like one thing I've learned recently is one of my classmates is like super conservative, super right wing, massive Trump supporter. But before I knew any of that, for like 4 months, he was like we chat every day. Like he was a nice ass
Yeah,
dude. We chat about like jujitsu, martial arts, like the gym and shit,
yeah,
the JRE podcast and shit. And then one day he just like dropped like, oh yeah, like we were just talking and he said something in support of Trump, and I was just like, oh wait, what? I thought like shit, man, and I immediately was just like, this dude sucks. Like I do not like this guy. And then
like alarm bells going
yeah,
off.
and I thought about it, and then I was like, he's actually a nice guy as long as we don't talk about politics, you know. And people maybe, not that I'm like a perfect example, but like I don't know, I feel like if we all stop to think about that a bit more and not start hating people because of certain ideologies, or like fuck you, like you're a vegan, I don't like you, like you're not liking someone because of the way they eat. Can you hear yourself? Do you understand how ridiculous that is?
Mm,
I don't know.
yeah,
It's
it's crazy. I feel, yeah, like how as a collective we become so fragmented based upon categorization of
yeah,
each other.
shit's just becoming uh, aspects of life are just becoming so tribal,
Mm.
so tribal, like just shutting each other away.
Yeah, definitely.
It's crazy, man.
And it's oh, and there's so many reasons for it, like social media, and and the the recent like political campaigns I've seen in Western countries are so much focused on like identity politics
Yeah,
uh, and red versus blue, and yeah, I don't know why it's become so polarized.
it's crazy. I mean, yeah, it is so emotional. I feel like, yeah, it's a hard one to talk about because you feel like a broken record just saying
Yeah.
it's so emotional, it's so emotional. But for the people who really are emotionally attached, it is everything.
Mm.
Man, it is like Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Crazy times.
Mm,
Yeah. But got to get out there and talk about it, I guess. You got to get out
yeah,
there, talk to people who don't agree with you, and that you talk to people you don't agree with, and like
exactly.
look.
No, that's what it is. Like,
Yeah.
the book I'm reading at the moment is called the Power of No, or like it's called, or is it No, the Power of where are you? Down here somewhere.
Where are you?
It's literally about um how good disagreement is for society. It's like so good. Like
Yeah. But it is so essential for sure.
it's so good. And even minorities have a huge effect on like within a conforming society, like having minorities that disagree manage to like challenge like conformity in very interesting ways and ideas within like the majority group. It's
Yeah.
so yeah, it's really interesting. And I don't know, it's not that there's a lack of that. Like there's definitely a lot of disagreement, but there's no healthy disagreement, I feel. People are
Yeah.
very um
Healthy debates.
partisan. Yeah. And that's the
Yeah.
thing, like
Like,
people identify as leftists or rightists, but I feel like that and progressives or conservatives or liberals or conservatives, and as soon as you say that, you can limit like a lot of your thinking. And do you know
yeah.
Friendly Geordies? You know Friendly Geordies?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fucking, yeah.
He mentioned something really interesting about that because he was talking about Gladys Berejiklian and like
Koala
how like
killer.
to call her a conservative, like she says I'm quite a conservative person, but it's like if you were conservative you wouldn't be pushing through so many like land clearing amendments to like just absolutely destroy and completely irreversibly change the environment in New South Wales. Like that's very progressive. That's not
Yeah.
conserving anything. So these words are
Right.
very strange and arbitrary, and I feel like it's just like conservative blue, progressive red, and like that's how we try and like navigate a very complex political environment, and it's been simplified a lot. Emotions again.
Yeah, it is genuinely. And it's like, damn, I completely lost my train of thought at the worst
That's
time
what
possible.
you need a coffee.
Shit.
Man. You need to drink
I
some
need
more.
to fucking at 10 at night. Um, but like, excuse me while I try and regain my train of thought. No, it's not. It's left the station. It's gone. Point is, I agree with everything you just said wholeheartedly. I completely support that. It's like you can't just drop yourself into a category because that's what it is. It's okay to disagree with people. You're allowed to disagree with them and still be a friend or still at least respect them as like someone with an opinion. Just because you disagree with someone doesn't mean that you immediately have to become an enemy. Like
Definitely.
I I think that's one of the biggest issues. People see that they disagree with someone else's ideas and they don't think, "Oh, how can we work around this?" They immediately just think, "This person's wrong, I'm right. They have to be taken out of the equation." And then it becomes
Mm.
an ego thing as well. People let the ego get in the way.
Yeah, like collaborative debate and understanding each other. Like trying to see the similarities in like at the end of the day, I honestly reckon like apart from like a select few that like people all want the same thing. Like they want what they have in their head is like a better view. They have like a good idea of society and they want like justice, equality, liberty, and like all these good ideals for everyone. But people just have like different ways of trying to go about it and trying to
Dude,
see like the similarities in each other's trying to see similarities rather than differences in each other and debate in healthy ways and ask questions of each other and try and see it from their perspective, which is just something that's not encouraged or it's not trending in that direction because of influences that I can't easily name, but it just seems to be
no,
going.
100%. We had to read this book for the subject I was talking about at the start of the episode, and it's basically a book about uh, uh, mediating. And in order to mediate, you need to understand people's interests, not their positions, which I thought was a really good point. It says in the book, so I just have these quotes here from when I was writing about it. Behind opposed positions lie shared and compatible interests. Um, every human being has like five. Obviously, this is up for the debate, but the author said there's five powerful human interests that everybody shares as a collective, and they are security, economic well-being, a sense of belonging, recognition of themselves, like through other people, and self-recognition, and control over one's life. And basically, these authors, Fisher and Uri, put forward that if you can go into a negotiation and understand that everyone shares those basic human needs, the negotiations or the debates, the disagreements would be so much better off, because you're like, we're all humans. We all want a roof over our head.
Yeah, it's so much easier to approach or understand their perspective if you're constantly reminding yourself that you and this person want the same thing.
Yeah, 100%. I did not expect us to get into this topic.
I reckon it's such an important topic.
100%, man. I like it.
Yeah.
It's like the whole thing comes back again to emotions. There's just the emotions and the ego as well. People don't want to be wrong. And like, you're going to be wrong sometimes. And some like people are going to disagree with you and bring forward really good points. And just because someone with a right wing or a left wing agenda brings forward a good point that you don't agree with, doesn't mean that you can just knock that away because they're because they have a different stance on something. It doesn't give you the right. You have no right to do that. Their opinion is just as valid as yours.
I'm trying to find out the cause of polarization.
The absolute root cause of all polarization.
Well, there's some that say there's 3 causes. Some that say there's 14 causes. 14. Here's 14.
What are the 3?
Well, actually, I would say this article the 14 one has a few that look a little bit more enticing than the others.
Okay, hit it.
Okay. So, the end of the Cold War. This is American focus, but the end of the Cold War, they say, as there's no longer a external threat to keep everyone cohesively, aligned against some people are finding it harder to unite. The rise of identity group politics. That's definitely true. Identity politics strong.
You pulled that off.
Growing religious diversity, growing racial diversity. There's some other ones that I don't really understand what it means. They have political party sorting, new rules for political parties. I don't know what that means. But, the spread of media ghettos. Media ghettos is a cool word. So I guess social media is so much more influential than I thought. I wasn't too sure about it before, but it's just occurred to me. The algorithms that we're exposed to that just give you the information that you enjoy. Like everyone's in a sort of echo chamber.
Echo chamber.
That's very bad. And since over 1 billion people in the world use Facebook, and like literally everyone, basically like 90% of people probably in Western developed nations use Facebook and Instagram probably. Like that is obviously affecting everyone, but the algorithms that give you a preference of information.
And in a lot of countries, like for lack of a better word, in developing countries, a lot more people would have access to Facebook than they do schooling. And if Facebook is their only contact with the outside world, if they have no formal education to understand what's real and what isn't, they are so susceptible to fake news. And like, I know Donald Trump throws that around a lot, but fake news is such a danger. It's so dangerous, especially in those people who don't have a formal education and are able to go, hang on, let me just check that fact real quick. Like, they're just going to buy it. And like you have China, for example. Sorry, not China. Yes, in China, where they were killing off the, I can't pronounce it properly, the Uyghur.
Yeah.
That was in China, where they were putting them into concentration camps.
Still are, I assume.
Yeah. So many people would have just seen on Facebook like that they are a threat to Chinese society. They are like Islamic extremists, and they would have seen that and gone, oh yeah, I'll just reshare that. Yeah, 100%. And then that happens all around the world. And then you just build up like these
Um,
hate groups in echo chambers.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And well, I was reading an article on this recently, but instead of arguing for censorship, so having Facebook, like make analyze or like investigate all these things, what should be taught to everyone a lot more emphasis should be put on critical media consumptions. So like making people like
Yes.
know to look at each side of an issue and like make sure like the statistics are coming from like valid sources and shit. Because we are living like almost like I've heard it said that we're like entering a post-truth political environment. So where people literally just lie, like just say things that aren't true. Like fucking. Did you hear about Rupert Murdoch's son coming out and saying like it's like News Corp has such a massive climate denialism bias. Like Rupert Murdoch's son said that, so that's huge.
That
But
is
then,
big. Fuck.
for example, like a group, I think an editorial member said that like strongly denied the claim. Like people just strongly deny things that are true, and everyone knows are true. And it's like people just don't say the truth. They don't have to say the truth anymore. Nothing. There's
Because
no
no one's
repercussion.
holding them accountable. You're not,
Yeah,
if you lie on social media, all that happens is people go, oh, you are lying. And then like nothing happens. You are not held accountable at all for the lie you just told. And who knows the far reaching consequences of that lie? Like, you know, um, obviously a smaller, not a very dangerous example. I was scrolling through Twitter for the checking out the bushfires, seeing what's going on. There's a few like last week, and a photo came up of this girl hugging a kangaroo, and someone was like, uh, "Burnt kangaroo receives wound treatment." So it was like a very enticing title, and I was like, "Oh, this is interesting." Clicked open the photo, read the comments, and the comments were all like, this is a photo from a few years ago of an Instagram influencer at a wildlife sanctuary, like just giving a hug to a kangaroo. The photo had a couple thousand retweets. These people would have just seen that, not critically thought about it. Like I didn't even critically think about it till I read the comment, retweeted it. And yeah, this example is just a kangaroo and a girl and an Instagram influencer. But what if it was something else? What if it was something more?
sinister.
People,
Like,
you know?
impactful. There was a like a fake account set up called Rebel Sport AU or something, and it was one of like
Yeah.
it's like that when there was like a flaming Australia and everyone was resharing, and that was like a fake account that they were using to generate more followers, and people
It's
just like
cool.
share things without looking at it for a second.
It's like
Um,
the when the Amazon was burning last year, the big photo that got sent around, and I think a couple of really, really big Instagram pages shared it, like not like NGOs or anything, but big Instagram pages, because I remember it being a big thing. And the photo was actually from the 2016 Amazon fires, showing how much it burnt then, not in 2019. I'm not discrediting the 2019 fires, but like the photo was from 2016 and no one picked up on it for the first month it was in circulation. Who knows how many retweets, reshares that would have got per day? Like,
all right, should we go to our segments? Is it about that
yeah,
time?
man, we should. We're rambling on.
Yeah. We said we wouldn't do this, man, but that's okay. It's good.
That's right. We're still at 40 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. Still market decrease. Okay. What did we start with? Musical piece? I don't even
It's been
remember.
so long. I think it was music first.
Okay. Music of the week.
What have you got?
Oh, have you seen Lost in Translation?
No, I haven't.
Absolutely amazing movie. Recommend that so highly. And the soundtrack is insane. So I've been banging that out a bit.
Okay.
It's got Air, like a few well-known artists on it, like Air and Square Pusher, and like really nice ambient sort of melodic music. So cool. Really, really cool movie. You would absolutely love it. It's such a cool movie.
Damn. Lost
Yeah,
in
recommend
translation. I'll check it
that.
out.
Lost in Translation, so cool. It's got Tom Hanks and Scarlett Johansson. So it's like as a romantic
Is that
duo
where they're a couple?
in like Japan.
I think I've seen like trailers for it.
It's such a cool movie.
Oh, I gotta check it out.
And you
Nice.
missed the week.
My music of the week, I've been listening to a podcast called Caliphate from the New York Times. Basically, this journalist, I'll get the actual description if I can find it. I can't find it, but basically the journalist explores the impact of ISIS on the US. What does it cost them? And then she talks to an actual bloke from, I think, Canada from memory. And he fought for ISIS. He was an ISIS policeman in the area that they captured when they were at their largest. He spoke about how he got accepted, how he had to kill people. And this is like he hadn't been arrested or anything before this. And then her last episode in the podcast is like 1 year later, and she goes back and explores what happens. It's very interesting. I won't give any more away from that, but it's probably one of the most captivating. He describes how he stabbed someone at like point blank range. It's a lot.
The Canadian former ISIS police officer, was he held accountable for any of this?
I won't say.
Okay.
I won't say. It's really one you have to listen to. It's got 10 like 25-minute episodes. All of them are absolutely gripping.
Bite size. Sounds good.
Bite size.
Out today. And
yeah,
what about
a bit like the way the Culture Cafe is going.
Yeah. I need to bang them out on the daily. Oh, yeah, bite size. We're trying to move down to a shorter episode format because because it's can be done. Why not?
It's easier. It's easier on the ears, easier on the brain.
Yeah.
Pet peeve and what are you grateful for this week? In any way you would like, in any order. Peeve of the week.
Peeve of the week. What is my peeve? Have you got one off the top of your head? I never think beforehand. It's a problem. I never think about my peeves beforehand.
Nor do I. Yeah, people not using their fucking indicators. There we go. Basic. Pretty simple.
Yesterday to me.
Use your goddamn indicator, right? I've adopted the habit where if I'm crossing the road and I see that a car is going to turn, and obviously they're not going too fast or else I'd die, but I see they're going to turn, they don't have the indicator on, I'll keep walking and I'll make eye contact with them as if to be like, you should have put your indicator on. I'm watching you, like, give them the eyes of death. Just get in there.
My piece, the elephant in the room, a government that is absolutely beholden to the coal extraction industry, and a government that is engaged in a revolving door. Government go to coal boards, come from coal boards to government, all held up by the master of puppets, Rupert Murdoch. So a very progressive political environment. That's what
in the midst of very, very obvious climate science, which is pointing to coal being disastrous for our climate, which will in turn be disastrous for the economy. They just have to wait, and it's going to hit them soon enough.
In the long term,
hit us, not them, us.
The economic cost of not adapting is going to be far more expensive than building renewable energy in the long run.
Look at the money they had to give out to everyone who was affected by the fires. That's just they're just going to have to keep on handing that money out to people who are affected by climate change. It's quite obvious.
Moment of the week.
Moment of the week. I'm grateful for an object, if that's okay.
That's okay.
Maybe this will get us a sponsorship. I'm not sure. I am hella grateful. I'm hella grateful for this shit right here.
If
you're listening right now,
I have that as well.
If you're listening, I'm holding up a stick of Mrs. Palmer's coconut oil formula lip balm, and this shit is so good.
I have the coconut oil. It's like in a little tub, and it's like for everything. It's like your face and your hands. You just get moisturized as so good.
Yeah,
And
my
it's all
lips have never
really
been moister. I'm never saying that again. Yeah. So, Miss Palmer's, if you're out there, sponsorship deal, hit us up. You know the contact details.
Right.
What are you grateful for?
Oh, I'm grateful to be back amongst my friends. No brainer that one. Like getting back.
Amazing.
Sorry to tease you. You've been over
That's all right.
to get back and see my best mates in Melbourne has been unreal. Really good.
Of course, man.
And
That's nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so hopefully next episode we're going to have a legitimate, well-researched topic to think about. We need to get back on our genetics grind. Like that was the best episode we've done.
That was so interesting, and we could get some interaction.
Survey, yeah, we'll do another little survey. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, we're gonna jump straight back on this. This is gonna be good. This is exciting. Yeah, this just went 45 minutes, so I guess we can sign out here. This has been really fun. It's cool to be back on the mic. Yeah, good to be back on the mic. Good to see you as well, Owen. Thanks for listening, everyone. Likewise. All right, folks, we're going to stop recording. See you next time. Bye-bye.